3, 2, 1, starting record. And we're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What day is it, Katie?
28th.
It is November 28th, 2010, and this is Josh XO's weapon of choice number 6, correct? Yeah, it's number 6. And today we had a model cancer on us. So we're going to work on little Susiekins here, Susiekin mannequin, and she's always willing to be a model for me, which is awesome because you don't really have anything better to do when you don't have any arms, legs, or even a fucking torso. So today, since the show's not about always doing a whole haircut, it's just about plugging holes in our hair cutting, we're going to talk about point cutting today. And most of it is going to be about the importance of hand positioning within point cutting. I think I said in episode number 1 how when someone you learn from has a pet peeve, you tend to pick up those pet peeves as well. And one of my own personal pet peeves is hand positioning when people are point cutting. So let's just kind of take a rough look at things here. So if I pull the hair up, let's find a nice section here. Alright, so I pull the hair up, and basically when we're point cutting, what we don't want to do is with our hands there, we don't want our elbow up like this, absolutely going at it to point cut. And there's a couple of reasons for that, because one, we comb this up, and then we go like that. One, look at our wrist position, look at our arm position. So if we're doing a lot of point cutting, we're going to wear out our arm. And the other thing, and I'll get to why that's important, but really we're stuck just cutting this way when we bring up. So what we really want to do is we want to have the back of our palm facing our forehead here, just like you're going to hit. And that way, your thumb is away from you. Alright, so if we go back to our section here, when my thumb is facing me, right, when we're using our scissors all the time, we want to just close with our thumb, just close with our thumb. When I have it this way, I'm more likely to what's called crocodile and move both my thumb and my hand, right? So the way we correct this is we turn our palm around, drop our elbow, and then when we comb the section, just our thumb will move there. All right. Now the other reason that it's very important that we have our palm to the back of us is hand positioning is very important in point cutting, depending on what we want to do with it. So if I want to just texturize the ends of a section, then what I want to do is I want to go straight in to the section. You can see there I'm point cutting. I'm just adding texture, loosening up the ends without taking any length. Now if I do want to take off length on that section, what I want to do is pivot and go in more horizontally. So when I go in horizontally, right, we can see we actually take length. So vertically, no length is coming off, we're just texturizing the ends, and horizontally, we're taking off length. So I think the best way to kind of demonstrate this is just starting by taking off the length on Miss Susiekins here. And you know, when your client has no torso, you really want to give her a very complimentary haircut. So, can we see that? Alright, so if I bring everything down, that's a good place to start. Bring everything down, right? If I go in vertically, I'm not taking off any length, right? But if I go in horizontally, you can see that length begins to come off. Right, so it's all dependent on the angle of my scissors here. When they're more flat, more horizontal, I'm going to take off length. Vertically, it's going to create just texture. So we just work around here, point cutting that length off. Right, so you can see how big of a difference that makes. just by the angle of our scissors. Right, and then if I've got my length off and it looks too heavy for me, then I can just go back and point in vertically and take out that weight. Pretty awesome and fancy. Alright, and I'll just texturize for us. Alright, so let's go back up to where some layering will happen. Right, now another key point of point cutting is the actual motion we make when we're point cutting. So we go in, and the best thing that you want to practice so that you don't end up cutting yourself is when you point cut, you want to close the scissors on your way out, right? So when you start practicing it, always just make a conscious effort to think to yourself, out. Right, so I have a nice section like that. I just want to point cut out, 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 out. And that's the same if we're going in the horizontal way or if we're going in vertically. And then over time, as you have that whole motion figured out, then when you point, you can build up the speed. Cut ourselves, and it's really embarrassing. And when you first start off in your career and you cut yourself, you're like, oh my god, and you got to run and get a band-aid. After you've been doing it a while, you just kind of hide it from your client and wipe it off on your pants, and wait till the service is done. And but I actually cut myself more, not from point cutting at all, but I cut myself more from when I'm really thinking about it and doing technical cuts. I've been getting the inside of my palm a lot lately too. So that's one way, like I said, and we can go as deep into it as we want. Now another way, if I really want to, there's another way to just really add a ton of texture, right? Because if I pull the hair up and I'm just cutting in those ends, I'm just going to be texturizing that section that I have, right? So what if she has a ton of hair and we really just want to kind of tear out a lot of weight and really thin it out just using point cutting? What we can do, and there's a couple little tricks here I pull to see what I can get away with when I'm point cutting. One, I kind of look, if I point cut way too close to the scalp, then I'm going to get hairs that probably want to stick out at points. So what I like to do is I like to bring the hair up and drop it. Just have all the hair in my hand and drop it. See where, pull it up, see where it wants to bend right there. If we go past that, then it's probably going to want to stick out a bit. So we want to keep it to the end here. So there's that bend, drop behind that. And then what we can do to really texturize all of this and not just the ends is we just go through and point. And as we point, we slide our fingers out. And the great thing about point cutting, a lot of people will just go in with thinning shears. I like point cutting because you get a little more control over what you're doing. So we just pull that out, look for that bend. And if I want to take out more weight, same thing. Then I'll go in more horizontally and really take out the weight. If I just go vertically, and we'll just slide out. So the key factor here, proper positioning and point cutting. The reason we want the back of us is so that we have more variation on the technique that we're going to pull off when we're point cutting. If we do this awkward thing where we're alligatoring and our thumb is facing us, then we don't have a big range of motion. By simply turning that around, then we have a much greater range of motion. And that's it. Rather short daily today, short weapon of choice, and that'll do it. We got any questions there? No, because if anyone blinked, if anyone was 10 minutes late to the show, they probably missed it.
No questions.
No questions. All right. You guys can catch Weapon of Choice with Josh XO 3 times a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. and that's on joshxo.tv. You can watch all the past episodes at joshxo.blip.tv. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/joshxo. And also look up the Weapon of Choice fan page, community page on Facebook, Josh XO's Weapon of Choice. And that's a whole shitload of Josh XO's. So that'll do it for tonight. I want to thank everyone for watching, and good luck and have fun.